Well, hello internets, here we are. We have ourselves a little bit of, a vlog here. This is something that I've been experiencing the last little while. And yeah, welcome to our vlog, so here we go. Well, I believe I talked about this a couple times in my previous vlogs, especially the ones that were probably about a year ago or so. Can't quite remember the date exactly, but it's been probably about a year and a half since anybody has been in the apartment below me. I'm not sure if that's how badly trashed the apartment was, and it's took them a year to rebuild it, or if they've took their time and had another source of income coming in where they didn't need to rent this apartment out super fast. I've seen some apartments, the people move out and 2 weeks later there's a new family moving in. Then I've seen other apartments that seem to sit empty for a year, 2 years before there's a new family moving in. So I have no idea if there's some kind of insurance that the landlord still gets paid whether it's rented or not, or if I don't know, there's something more going on. Sometimes a person kind of wonders, especially when he's got more time to watch what's really going on around him than maybe he should. Well, this summer, it all started the fall of 2021 when I was sick, getting over the sick type of thing. The people below me had several run-ins with the police. And when the police get called, of course the landlord gets called. And when the landlord gets called, there is escalation, quite often leading to eviction. And half of them moved out. There was quite a few people living there. Half of them moved out, leaving a female behind and maybe a kid or two. Well, she put what appeared to be a red light in her bedroom, and whenever that red light was on, I guess she was open for business. The reason why I say that is, yeah, there was literally a red bulb in her bedroom, and when that red bulb was on, strange men would show up at weird hours of the night. And some would stay longer than others. Some would be gone in 10-15 minutes. Some might be there for 45 minutes to an hour. I wouldn't really notice. I wouldn't really care. Wouldn't really have noticed. Except for some odd reason, they would buzz my buzzer instead of buzzing hers. Which, okay, fine. You know, you don't know her buzzer. You just randomly buzz somebody and hope they'll let you in, because that's what people seem to do in apartments. But sometimes I'd be sleeping, because obviously this is, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, or 1, 2 in the morning. And with me, I'm either in a deep sleep where I haven't slept for days and I'm catching up, or I haven't slept for days and I just managed to doze off. And then suddenly here's a buzz from, for the lack of a better term, someone looking to get something going because he's got nowhere else to get it from, or whatever, right? So she'd let him up, and a few minutes later another one would show up and do it all over again. This went on for probably 4 or 5 months or so, and then there was a U-Haul truck showed up with a bunch of people in it. They loaded, tossed through everything in the back of the U-Haul truck, and then disappeared. And it was quiet down there for off and on for the best part of the winter. There were some weird, sketchy people hanging around the building, but they may not have been there for that, occupying that specific empty apartment. So over winter, there'd be scratching and tapping and banging like there's something down there, but you think, well, maintenance men must be in there painting new flooring, stuff like that. Come the summer of what would have been there 2022, about the time I'd go on holidays, there'd be a tap 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 tap, like a tap 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 tap, and okay, fine, someone's hanging pictures, someone's putting on baseboards. I don't know what the tapping would be. A month later, when I got back from my big epic vacation, the tapping was still going on. That must be a heck of a pile of pictures, or even baseboards, because a sufficient and efficient contractor would make all his cuts first and then nail them on, and usually they wouldn't use a hammer and a nail set to put the baseboards on, because time is money. They'd run along with the air nailer and put in all the nails in a 5-minute stretch. So whatever, I mentioned it to the landlord when I signed my lease, just in case, because an empty apartment that there was many people living there, very possibility could have had many stray keys floating around, and when people know an apartment is empty or a residence is empty, whether it's a commercial structure or a house, sometimes they end up squatting in there, moving in, and when that happens, there's more issues, whether it's a mess or a fire or fights, whatever. And I never heard back from the landlord, so I just assumed it must have been the maintenance. Come the fall of the year, there was somebody I swore was moving in there, because they were hauling stuff up the stairs, and there was a gray car parked in the stall. There was someone coming and going. You hear them down there. They'd leave like clockwork in the morning and come home like clockwork in the evening, always putting bags in their trunk, always taking bags with them. Again, still weird, sketchy people hanging around, weirder, sketchier people than normal. And again, I just kept to myself, didn't complain. I'm not the kind of one to rock the boat and cause unneeded conflict, especially if it's not warranted, right? And this went on for probably 3-4 months into the winter. And then suddenly that car disappeared. Suddenly all the sketchy people disappeared. And this is a 3-bedroom apartment below me. And a single guy in a 3-bedroom apartment kind of raises a little bit of questions. Usually you don't rent something that large unless you have a need for it, like a family. And usually a single guy wouldn't be in something that big. So I just put it down as a short-term rental. And a few months more went by. We get into the coldest part of winter, and a big U-Haul truck pulls up. A bunch of they opened the back door, and it looked like they stood the U-Haul truck up on end, threw a bunch of stuff in. There was broken stuff and smashed stuff and stuff piled upon each other, and they start hauling it upstairs. So after a year and a half, I finally got tenants below me, and yeah, you can hear them. You can tell there's tenants below me. You can tell somebody lives there. The police have been there once for sure already, and it very quite possibly could be rented in the mother's name, and the daughter and her boyfriend and the 2 kids are living down there. But hey, that's part of life. Sometimes you don't have the credit to qualify for what it takes to get an apartment, so you get family member to co-sign cosign for you, then you hope for the best. But like I said, after a year and a half, someone finally moved in down there. We got virtually a full building now. I don't know complex-wise how full we are here, but because it's winter, people tend to den up. When we have that many people living together in close proximity like this, you hear, you see, you experience some interesting things. It's took a lot of getting used to living back in an apartment after owning my own home like I did. And realizing that, well, it's not my building, it's not my apartment complex, it's not my circus. You know, those aren't my inmates or monkeys running around. It's not my business to watch them, police them, call the landlord. Essentially, if no one's getting beat up in the parking lot or no one is messing with my vehicle, then everything else is of no importance to me. But I guess it is what it is, and around we go. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.